Hello, everyone. I'm just here with my wonderful friend Helen, and we've decided today that we're doing a debrief on our Content Accelerator event that we ran on the 6th of June. And we decided, why not just do it as one of my unstoppable interviews? Because, quite frankly, we're both completely unstoppable. So I'm going to start this off as normal. And Helen, thank you so much for joining me. And I'd like you to share with everybody who you are and what it is you do, my love.
Yes, so I am Helen Barnett. I run Helen Barnett Media, which is content strategy and writing company. Essentially, it all comes down to helping businesses work out what to say where so they can connect with their ideal customers and make more sales, because that's all what we want. I'm an ex-journalist and editor, so I take that journalist sort of nose for a story and pull out your unique angle.
And she is amazing, I won't lie. And those who don't know me, I'm Julie from Millerside Therapy and Coaching, and my technical name is a super conscious hypnotherapist. Now, what does that mean? It means I help people who are feeling stuck, stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed to get to the root of what's going on, whether it's psychological or a physical condition, so that we can get you living the life that you deserve to be, to get you back to reset and rise. So that's me. So, Helen, when I do one of my interviews, I always ask my guests, I call it my famous question, but it's not really famous, famous in my lifetime. But that question is, what does being unstoppable mean to you?
And the first thing that comes to mind is fear and not having it. So being fearless to do the things that you want to do.
I love that. And actually, to be fair, that's exactly what we did, wasn't it? We met, for those who don't know our quick story, we met at a networking event and we got to just know each other a little bit, not super much. It was just every time we saw each other, we'd been, oh, hello. And then one day we decided that we both needed to put ourselves out there a little bit more. And we both wanted to run an event. So I, rightly or wrongly, said, why don't we do something together? And with that, we went off to lunch and we ended that lunch having decided that we're going to put an event on, a whole day event. We did start with talking about whether we do a little live or something like that. And in the end, we went, no, we're going all in on this. So we booked the date, we booked the venue, we come up with the title, and that was that. That's how the event was born, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think because even though we're from different worlds, there is an overlap
Mm.
because every time I work with clients, it gets to the point where they've got a strategy, but then they actually have to do it and implement it. And then there's a bit of fear and confidence needs to be brought out of them. So that confidence in visibility works for both professional and in personal. So together we sort of deal with both sides of it.
Mm. And it was interesting because when we were trying to come up with a concept, because it was all about being visible, because I work with professionals and business owners, but for business owners, it's really about having the confidence to, for a start off, go live, for a start off, to do a video, but even just to put a post out, because some people just can't even do that because it just feels icky. It just sends them with this horrible feeling in their chest. And they're like, I don't want people knowing what I'm doing. But the reality is, if you're not visible, then you're not seen. Therefore, no one gets to know about your superpower and this wonderful thing that you've created in your business. So what's the point of that?
Yeah, and so I think one way is to start small. You don't have to go full on doing a piece to camera, talking, a polished reel that's been edited. Just start by taking a selfie and showing your face and doing a
Mm.
written post that's still, and then that's like the first step into getting you out there a bit more because people do want to know who is behind the brand, and that's how people buy these days. So yeah, that was our intention for the event, was to make sure that people understood the reasons for visibility, and to be fair, I do think they did, but it's also bringing out the confidence in them. So yeah, it was a really good event, wasn't it?
It's brilliant.
We Yeah, we had really engaged people, and actually that's what we've been speaking about just before doing this live, is our big takeaways from the day. So I feel like we should just share them.
I think we should. Yeah. I mean, number one, I think, was the fact that if you want to be successful, you need to take action. And one of the big takeaways that we came up with was that actually you can choose your hard, right? You can choose to stay living your life that's really, really difficult and you feel like you're pushing a boulder up a hill, and then sometimes it will stay there, sometimes it just drops back and you feel like you've gone back to the beginning. Well, you can choose that, or you can work on your inner self. So that's where I come in and understand what's keeping you stuck, right? And we did talk about the monkey trap. We talked about being trapped in our story. But once you start working on yourself, you can actually uncover what's holding you back. So when people work with me, that's what we're doing. We're really getting to the root cause of what's going on for you so that you don't stay stuck. But for you, Helen, that's a little bit different, isn't it? Yours is about the practical side of being stuck.
Yeah, but I would say that the choose your hard was a really good point because it applies to everything. So, you know, you either choose to stay where you are, where you're stuck, and
Mm.
it's quite hard work, or you choose to take the step into the unknown and the uncertainty and, you know, putting yourself out there a bit more. That feels hard too, but there's potentially gold at the other side. So it's like choose your hard. Do you choose to stay in where you are, or do you choose to push yourself, do something uncomfortable and get to the less hard, the excitement, the fun at the end of it?
And
So
our
yeah,
little
I think
analogy was about the Billy Goat Gruff story, wasn't it? You know, they really wanted to get across the bridge, but they were too fearful because the grass was greener on the other side. But if they stayed where they were, they was probably going to starve and die, right? So they had to take the hard, which was the short term hard, which was finding the courage to go across the bridge, and then they had the life that they wanted. The hard was behind them, and I think we
yeah,
all get caught in that, don't we? Not being able to get over that bridge.
yeah. The second takeaway was one at the beginning of the event. We got people to talk about what was holding them back from putting themselves out there, and everyone had very similar issues. So it was needing to build confidence, needing to be visible, and also needing like balancing the overwhelm. So feeling
Mm,
overwhelmed, not knowing what to do, how often not having that sort of plan. So yeah, it kind of, and that's where our overlap does come in because we help people stop the overwhelm, both by psychologically but also practically.
mm.
But yeah, everyone sort of had similar issues, and I think it's very common. I definitely do hear it from the same thing from business owners time and again, is that they're trying to spin all the plates,
Mm,
don't really know what to focus on. I go through it myself. I even had
definitely
it
me as well.
yesterday. It's just like, just stop getting distracted by those things over there. Just concentrate on this for now. And then yeah,
Mm.
it's quite easy to feel overwhelmed when you're a small business owner trying to do everything.
Yeah, and not only a small business owner either. It's like any people in life, isn't it? I did a talk in a corporate yesterday, and it was like I was saying the same message to them. It's like you, I thought I was brilliant. I thought it was a superpower that I could spin like 20 plates, right? But those plates start come crashing down, don't they? And then you don't know. Sometimes that can lead into even more stress, even to more overwhelm. I think it's great to have multiple things on the go, but it's about confining it to maybe just a few rather than loads.
Yeah, and it's not to say that you can't spin another plate later down the line, but at
Mm,
any one time, there's only so much that you can do and focus on.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the other ones that spring to mind for me was it was a lot of them realised actually that they didn't give themselves credit for how well they had done. There's one of our delegates in particular who realised she actually got very emotional and she said, "You know what? I've realised that actually I'm doing much better than I thought I was." So we talked in the training about changing perspective, and that was a huge perspective shift for her because she actually went, "You know what? I'm pretty awesome," but she hadn't realised she was, had she? And doing this process had made her realise that yeah, don't get me wrong, there's things that she could do better, but actually she's doing really, really well. And that was great for her.
What the thing that I love doing as part of my job is pulling out that thing that makes them really special and different and is their sort of unique selling point and really
Mm,
leaning into that. And there is like a light bulb moment where they think, actually, I do have something, a
mm,
different sort of perspective, and I do have something good to share with the world. And it just brings out people's buzz for their business, whether it's that they never had it or they had it and lost it and they just needed reminding or whatever. But it's just, that is my favorite part of the day, is when
it
people
was, wasn't it?
walk out the room with just buzzing with ideas and excitement, thinking, yes, I can like take it on.
You know, and when you walk into an event like that, you know, probably you don't know anyone, right? And that in itself is quite a big step, isn't it? To move forward and actually number one sign up for it and then actually turn up. And at the beginning they were all chatting, but you know that people are just getting to know themselves. Then they went to lunch together, and by the end of the day, they were bouncing ideas off each other, and they was going, "Oh my God," connecting with each other and going to meet up. So not only did we create a really nice environment for them, they were actually connected, and maybe they'll see each other again afterwards. Who knows? But my favourite moment, I think, was in particular one of, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to pull them out, but she came into the room. I mean, she's quite delicate little, in stature anyway, isn't she? Quite small, but she'd grown 10 times the size of herself by the time she walked out the room, hadn't she? And we were doing a little video after. We feel like proud mums that we've like hatched these little chicks, and they've kind of fledged a nest as like full swans. It was really lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good transformation. And I think the other point there that you sort of touched on is that we all have knowledge to share. So that was one of my big takeaways, is that actually when we go in there expressing, like, being vulnerable, and we can actually find the answers to issues and support each other, because everybody got involved with coming up with ideas for other people, or just validating their thoughts, and just the challenges they go through. Everyone's saying, "Yeah, I've done that too." Yeah, and you just feel, oh, if you're an attendee, you think, okay, well, at least what I'm thinking is like, other people have gone through this too, and there's nothing wrong with me. So yeah, there was like a lot of advice and a lot of support in the room, which made me feel very proud that
It
everyone
was,
was
wasn't it? We did
really,
get a bit
yeah, really
emotional at the
lovely to
end.
each other. And I think that's all that I mean, pretty much wherever you go in these rooms that you go to, if it's sort of cultivated in the right way, that is what people are like. We don't want to have people who are going to be sort of not open to the process, and not open to being vulnerable, because it doesn't really benefit people in the room. So it was that everybody was just helping each other, and
They
that was a
were.
really lovely thing.
And I think it was by the end of it, they kind of knew who their client was. And when you watch the testimonials, you'll see this even more. But, it was like they know who they're talking to now. They didn't before, or they got a bit more clarity. And you did that very, very well by going through all the deep questioning, didn't you, on how you get to that point of knowing who your client was. Do you want to just touch on a few pointers there?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah, it was actually
Hopefully she will
really
be one back by the end of it. Who knows?
but it was good to see that the process worked, and in sort of real time, how it worked in a group setting, because essentially people have started their business for a reason, but they may not necessarily have done like the deep thinking work about their clients. And what I focus on a lot is really picturing who that person is that they're serving, and what do they look like, what do they do for a living, what house do they live in, do they have what supermarket do they shop in, what drink would they buy at the pub, all these
Mm,
different things that really paint a picture, and then going into their issues and how you can address them. And there's a lot more to it than that, but that essentially we're really
mm,
painting that picture of who they are and what they need to see to be able to trust you. So there was a lot of questions, a lot of scribbling down. I had a lot
mm,
of questions and forms for people to fill in, to just get their ideas down, and then they can take that away with them to actually refer back to throughout, at later dates, if they're ever struggling for
mm,
ideas, or wondering, just need to refresh their mind of who their client is. It's a really useful sort of document to have, when to just refer back to, and also to help other team members. Maybe you've got a new person who's helping, say, read this will tell you everything you need to know about my business.
mm,
And yeah, it just kind of sets people up. And I think having it all written down and gone through the process, and coming, filling in my sort of matrix at the end, means that people have a plan, and that is the first step to like getting rid of the overwhelm, feeling in
mm,
control. And I'd say that was one of my takeaways. I mean, I knew it already, but it was really good to see it in people saying it to my face, saying, I feel so much more calm, and feel like,
mm.
and focused, and know what to do. Now I've got this plan. So yeah, I think if you're ever feeling overwhelmed by marketing, you need a plan. That is, get something on paper that tells you where you're going.
Yeah, and obviously come and speak to you. Obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was the thing. We wanted to make sure people came out with something kind of physical, didn't we, at the end of it? Because I can share the power of the mind. I gave them loads of tools and techniques. We've done some breathing techniques. I taught them a way of how they can acknowledge their thoughts and feelings that are coming into their head. How the power of language, just the way you're talking to yourself, can make such a huge difference. And the combination of both of these things together, they were understanding that actually they had the power to change how they think, because I taught them that every thought causes a physical reaction in your body, right? We're an energy. So every time you have something negative going on, you're sending negative energy, and vice versa if it's positive, which is more what we want. And even just finding out these small little things, we didn't talk about brain surgery. Well, Lord only knows I wouldn't last 5 minutes in that conversation. But you don't need to be a brain surgeon, right? You just need to know some of the basic things so you can just make these instant changes. And then if you want to go on and do deep work, then obviously come see me. But even if just in your everyday life, just listen to the language you're telling yourself, calm your mind, calm your body, and start listening to what's going on inside. Then you can start seeing changes. And by the end of it, I mean, pardon the pun, but they were just blown away, weren't they? Their mind was like,
And I think the thing that was really good about the work that you did is that there was like coping techniques. So things like if you are in the moment of stress, what to do. So coping, but also just like going a bit further to like the preventative stuff. So, actually like reframing the negative thoughts. How can you flip it? How can you challenge yourself to think differently? I think that was really useful for everyone to actually think, and actually also just acknowledging this is how I'm feeling. And then thinking of the flip reverse and to try and change
giving
the
them that time
perspectives.
to think was important. And then at the end, because what we did at the beginning, wasn't it, we took all their what they're stuck in, what do you want that to look like, and then obviously we covered off that throughout the day. And then at the end we actually did a hypnosis as well, didn't we? And that was all
Yes.
about leaving all that negativity behind and just focusing on that positive. And that was quite emotional at the end, actually, wasn't it? Because everyone was like, ooh.
Feel like you can take on the world.
Yeah. So the combo between us, I know we're saying it and we don't want to come across big-headed, but you know what? It was pretty phenomenal. And actually, one of the ladies, lovely ladies, said, actually, you didn't express what you were doing as well as we could have done in the title. And actually, the content was worth way more than what we were charging for it. So that was nice,
Yes. That was very nice feedback to hear, because we did pour our heart and souls into it all. So
and that brings me nicely, actually, because we did invest a lot of energy, time, as much as it's been lovely spending a lot of time with Helen, but obviously it does take time to build something like we built, right? And this is one of the reasons why we're talking coming on live now, because we're not sure whether we want to go again or not. We loved it, but it did take a big chunk out of our lives, and it's a lot of planning, a lot of promotioning. I don't know if that's a word, but anyway, it is now. I'm going to add that to my Judaism book. Who cares? Whatever. I'm live, so I can't change it. But we want to find out if any of you saw us advertising this, or if any of you are watching this and you think it might be something that would be of interest to you. Then what we would invite you to do is go into the chat and just put yes please, or yes, or DM us, do whatever you need to. And then what we'll do is, if we get a list of people that would like to do something, we could then talk to you and find out what it is you really want, and then by all means we can put on another event and take it from there, really.
it might be that you feel like you need the pair of us, you just need one of us, you need just Julie, just me, just whatever your issues are, like let us know. But I think just sort of gauging where we're at would be helpful, just to see if we do something again, because like Julie said, we loved it, we know that it was very, very useful, but it's whether it's worth the time to invest in you. Yes, I think that people got so much out of it, and I personally got a lot out of it
I was
too. I
going
really
to ask
enjoyed
you that,
it.
actually. I was going to say to you, by the way, as usual, we don't plan any of this like we didn't with any of our videos. But as we were talking, I was actually going to ask you what thing, because I know what things you've got out of it because we spoke about it, but what would be a couple of things do you think you'd want to share that was good for you?
I think testing my process out. So it's developed a 5-step process for basically taking people from content confusion to clarity. And it's the sort of process I do one-to-one with people, but looking at it in a more sort of accessible price point. I wanted to test it out in a group setting so that I could help more people who need it, but perhaps can't afford me one-on-one. So it was really good to know that the process works. Um, but I'm sure there's ways that I can refine it just to make it a little bit easier for people, because there was a lot of writing they had to do, and make it a bit shorter because we had to like squeeze in those toilet breaks.
I was like, do you really need to go to the toilet? We've got so much to do.
But I think the process works. So I feel like that's a game changer for me, but also that was an actual quote from someone that it has been a game changer for them. So yeah, that's something that I have learned, that I need to back myself a bit more, Julie.
I know, and this was the thing. And when we were like debriefing it, I was saying to Helen, look, it's the first event that, I mean, I've done a shorter version, but I've never done a whole day event for both of us. We've never done it before, right? So if nothing else, please be inspired by us, right? We did the whole, we, like I told you at the beginning, that we met and we decided, and then as we went off, we were like, what have I just done? Right, because we'd actually committed to something, hadn't we? And
We
we'd
booked the
committed to
room.
each other. Yeah, apart from we booked the room, but we'd made a commitment to each other. But we didn't know each other that well. We didn't know if we was really. Well, I'd like to think that both intuitively we knew that we would be able to work together, but we didn't know that. And actually, it was a really lovely connection that we've made. And we both bring different things to the table. One would think about doing one thing, the other would come up with something else. It was never that feeling of, oh, for God's sake, I've done all of this and Helen's done nothing, and vice versa. It was just like, oh, I've done this and I've done this. And it just really, really flowed. And once we had kind of got out of our own heads about how we can deliver this, because you get caught up in it, didn't you? And we've had to go, hang on, let's just take a step back, because we had you won't even want to know how much stuff we had in it. And it was about, no, we need to see what we can take out, because there's just too much. And even then we could strip more out, couldn't we? But when you're doing it for the first time, you just don't know. We practiced our elements, but when you're interacting with people, you just don't know. You could have had a group of people that didn't even interact, and then we probably would have been finished by lunchtime. But you just don't know, do you? And that was the excitement of it. It was just, yeah, it was just.
I think that's what I'm really thankful for, is the people who were in the room were so open to learning, trying different things, and just the process. And that is probably my final takeaway from it all, is to actually get the most out of both of our work. You've got to be open to the process and open to learning new things and sort of new ideas that come in. So then it really, I think the people who were the most open to being a sponge and saying, actually, maybe I could do something different, I think they got the most out of it.
And what was lovely for me, actually, one of the delegates that was there, I met her at another networking event, right? And I had a little speaking slot, 15-minute speaking slot. And when I spoke to her afterwards, she said, Julie, I came for you because I was so inspired by you at the other event that I just needed to come and spend some more time with you. And I was like, it really was emotional talk. And how lovely is that, right? So it just helped me to realise that I can put a day event on. I can do it on my own or with someone else, right? But I know that I've got so much knowledge now, and well, from these that I can talk for England anyway, but I just love it so much. And I've never been so passionate about anything in all my life. I feel emotional now.
Oh gosh.
But
Are you okay?
I think so. But it's like when you find your thing, then you just want to go out there, and this is the whole thing about being visible, right? If you've got the most amazing business or life, right, but people don't know about it, how are you going to make money? And if you're
Yeah.
stuck either with you're not having a strategy, or you're stuck from within, because the outer world is happening, but it's being driven by here. right? But you just don't realize it. And this is where we talked a lot about imposter syndrome, and some people don't even know what that is. And I didn't really realize I was an imposter until I retrospectively looking at it, right? But you need to do the work from within if you want to be successful, because then the money will come, right? Because you love who you are, you believe in who you are, and you haven't got the money blocks. And that's the journey I've been on, and I feel like finally I'm kind of in my place now. It's not been easy, but I chose my hard, which was to leave I've 360'd my career, done something completely different. But yeah, it was hard, it was enjoyable, and there's been lots of ups and downs, but I'm reaping the benefits now. I'm in my new hard. I'm over the if I'm Billy Goat Gruff, I'm in that grass now, and now I'm starting to reap the fun and the everything that comes with it. And yeah, be inspired by us, please. If nothing else, I'll shut
I
up and
mean, well, I was going to say, like 6 months ago, would you have thought that you would have done, what, 3 events? How many speaking events as well? Like that were just, to promotional speaking gigs. Would you have thought that's what you've done a corporate event, you've done your own solo evening event, you've done a whole day workshop with me, like
yeah,
you've spoken at 2 different networking events. Like, would you have put that on your bingo card?
No, and this is the thing. I kind of got to the point where I decided this year got off to a really slow start because I had a lot of health issues with both my parents, and I feel like I lost the first quarter, shall I say, for want of a better phrase. And I annoyed. I was a little bit, because I felt like I couldn't focus on my business and making the money and everything else, right? But actually, I just had to trust. I had to trust in myself. I had to trust in the universe that it would be okay. And it was, because then I started to go, well, do you know what? I'm just going to sign up for this. I'm going to sign up for that. I did call myself a little bit stressed and overwhelmed, I won't lie. I was like coming off one event going, oh my God, no, I've got to plan the next one. But what it did do, it really aligns my mind. It has helped me to align my products. It's helped me to align who my target audience really is. And because you're just constantly refining. And the whole process, I think, all the years of me is now coming down to, and I just feel really aligned. And then when I feel aligned, then that's going to reflect the people that I talk to. And when I've got people who want to come and work with me, I'm hoping that they just want to come and work with me. And I'm not there to beg them, but they're coming to me because they're drawn to me. And that's what you want. You want them to be coming to you and just going, here's my card, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we want. But you can't do that if you're not visible.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, putting yourself out there and doing something different, you just don't know where it's going to lead. So I put down this 5-step process, which I've been doing it for a while, but actually putting it down for a group setting now means that I have got a product that I can deliver. I can deliver instead of just doing, I do all the work for you, done for you sort of product. I can now guide people through my process one-on-one, so that they can come in at a more accessible price, and sort of do it with them. So I've now launched a guided strategy product, which is for sort of small, micro, self-employed businesses who may just need to get started and have a rethink of their marketing strategy. And that is all because of the event and testing that delivering this guided actually works. So yeah, thank you so much to the attendees for trusting in me to try that out. And yeah, their results just gave me such confidence to sort of create a new product.
Yeah, and I always had my 2 products, didn't I? And I had my one-to-ones, but also my group membership program. And for me, it felt easier because I can just feed people into there. But we had lots of conversations around you've got to come up with something that you can do. And I know how Helen felt, because when you've got a one-to-one service, it's really difficult because it's so powerful. I know when I do my one-to-ones with clients, they get such transformational results really fast. When I created my group program, I had to get my head around the fact that, hang on, I'm not doing that element of it. Well, how am I going to get them results then? But I have, because I had to understand that if someone's here and they want to get here, my group program can get them here on the starting running of it, like we've done with the event. Really, just starting to understand the basics and start building you up so that you can start your journey. The same with you. Once you can, especially if you're new to business, let's understand who your target audience is, get them on that road, and then if they want to go deeper, they can come and work with you. If they want to get in media, if they want to get in a magazine, if they want to get, it's not just social media, is it? That was the message that we wanted to put across to the girls, that it's the whole thing isn't just how many posts you've done on Instagram. It's, well, why don't you get on TV then? Why don't you get in the newspaper? Why don't you get in a magazine?
Yeah, go on podcasts, get on stage,
Yeah.
all sorts of things. Yeah. And it all comes down to that core message. If you've got your core message and your plan of what you're trying to say, then you can say it anywhere. Yeah.
So for us, it was just an amazing event. It was lovely for us to prove that we could do it, and the feedback was phenomenal, which meant we achieved what we wanted to achieve. And this is why we're asking you now, if you do want us to do something again, then just put yes please or yes, or message us in the chat, and then we'll see if there's what's the word, demand. There you go, thank you. If there's a demand for it, then we'll happily put together something for you, maybe tweak it. We can ask you what you want in it and do it that way as well. Who knows, we can make it a day event, 2-day event. Who knows, we can make it into a week. Who knows, we can do whatever we want, right? Because we're creative people. We can create whatever's required by our clients. But I get on that note, Helen, I guess we ought to be wrapping up now, shouldn't we?
Yes.
What would be your last message to everybody that wants to watch him?
My last message is to back yourself, work out what makes you special and how that aligns to your ideal clients, and start shouting from the rooftops about it.
Brilliant. And for me, it has to be, if you want to be the best version of yourself and show up for your clients as the best version of yourself, then you need to do the inner work yourself and not let the outer world drive what's going on, because you think that's driving, but it isn't. This is driving. And you're going to be making decisions based on maybe something that happened to you when you were 5 years old. So if you think that's a good idea, carry on. Carry on regardless. So Helen, thank you so much for coming and for spending all that time with you. It's going to be like we've built up for a wedding, and then the wedding's over and it's kind of like, what do we do now? But what we'll do is once it's finished streaming, I'll go in and add in all Helen's contact details, tag her to all of these videos as well, so that you've got her on there, and obviously mine as well. And Helen will share this to all of her audience. So anyone who's watching it who doesn't know me, if you feel that you need to become visible or you're stuck in any way, then I'm your woman. Helen, if anyone needs help with their content strategy or getting in the media or whatever it is, she's your lady. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you with my next guest, whoever that might be, whenever that will be. See you soon. Thank you for watching.